Welcome to more World of Warplanes content from this channel, and in this video I want to discuss steel supply crates. And before anything else, this is not a reaction video. I will not be opening supply crates and reacting to the contents of them. Steel supply crates were on offer in the World of Warplanes premium shop recently, and in exchange for your cold hard cash you had the chance to get desirable in-game goods. The content of each crate was a mystery. That is, you wouldn't know what you were going to get each time you bought a crate. As you can see on the website, the crates came in a variety of bundles ranging from 1 crate all the way up to 100 crates. And this is not the first time that this sort of crate has been offered by World of Warplanes, and we'll discuss that in a moment. Let's have a look at the cost of these bundles, and we see from the spreadsheet in front of us that 1 crate cost €4.27, 100 crates cost €197.10. You can see the unit prices. As you would expect, the more crates you bought, the less you paid per crate. Now, interestingly, on the website the World of Warplanes discount was listed as I've shown there. I'm not sure how they arrived at those figures. I've worked out my own discounts, and the long and short of it is that if you bought 100 crates, the cost of each crate was 54% less than buying 1 crate. I mentioned a moment ago that this isn't the first time that World of Warplanes has offered this kind of crate, and if we look at an example from 2019, here are holiday supply crates with a similar sort of set of prizes. And it's worth pointing out that they're considerably cheaper than the current steel crates. So let's take a look at what was actually in these crates. And if we go to the World of Warplanes webpage, we see that each crate contained 3 guaranteed prizes, 1 from the groups that I'll show you in a moment. So group 1 was premium account or gold. Very simple. Group 2, I suspect, is the group that would be of most interest to players or potential purchasers. Here's a list of aircraft ranging from tier 2 up to tier 8, some quite desirable aircraft there, that you might get if you bought one of these crates. However, you weren't guaranteed to get an aircraft. Instead you could get gold, free experience, or more premium account. And there was a third group where you might get experimental equipment, consumables, pilots with free skill points, or materials. Now, it's very difficult to know what players thought of these groups. In my case, they weren't very attractive. I believe that some people might have found them more attractive than I did. There is an interesting comment here I didn't quite understand. And that said, if you already have an aircraft that was received from a steel supply crate, it will be one-time compensated with gold equal to the value of the warbird cost. Well, this is both a good and a bad thing. It's good because, to my knowledge, compensation from these sorts of crates hasn't been offered before. That may explain why they're much more expensive, of course. The one-time bit isn't clear. Does that mean that if you happen to win an aircraft a second time within a bundle that you've purchased, you wouldn't be compensated for it a second time? Or did it mean that you would never be compensated for the aircraft should you get it again, ever? My guess is that it really is one-time compensation, and that if you were unlucky enough to win one of these aircraft a second time in a crate at any time, you wouldn't receive a second set of compensation. And in my opinion, that's not good enough. There's another problem here. Try as I might, I haven't been able to find anywhere that tells me what the chances of winning any of these aircraft are. It's completely unknown. And in that case, what that makes these boxes is loot boxes. And loot boxes are in-game items that you pay for without knowing what you're going to get, in the hope that you're going to get something good. There's a lot of debate about the exact status of loot boxes. not only in gaming communities, but also in other arenas. I'll state my opinion clearly here. I believe they are gambling, and that has ethical issues that I'd like to discuss now. And the problem is prevalent. Here's an article from The Guardian, a British newspaper. I just want to draw your attention to this part here. A form of gambling now appears in 71% of top games on Steam platform, drawing calls for regulation to protect children. Now, this is from 2019, but clearly this discussion hasn't gone away, as I'll show you in a moment. In case you're labouring under the misapprehension that the discussion about loot boxes is just casual, it's not. Here's an article from Eurogamer, and it talks of the link between loot boxes and problem gambling being robustly verified. Now, I don't want to discuss whether or not it really is robustly verified or not. My point is that there's academic research taking place into this issue. Is this a problem for World of Warplanes? I suppose to answer that question you have to think about who plays World of Warplanes and who World of Warplanes thinks is playing their game. So let's take a look at PEGI ratings. PEGI stands for the Pan-European Game Information Institution, and they produce age ratings designed to provide guidance concerning the content of things like video games and whether they're suitable for youngsters or not. And if we do a search for World of Warplanes, we see that it has a PEGI rating of 7. What does that mean? I'll read this out. Game content with scenes or sounds that can possibly be frightening to younger children should fall into this category. Very mild forms of violence, implied, non-detailed or non-realistic violence, are acceptable for a game with a PEGI 7 rating. Now, it doesn't matter whether you or I think that World of Warplanes falls into this category, that's how it's been rated. And that World of Warplanes takes it seriously, I think, is illustrated by the way that chat bans are handed out in-game. Any foul language and any harassment, even of a mild nature, will get you banned in the game. And I think that's evidence to suggest that Wargaming thinks this rating is important for it. Now, if Wargaming is making serious efforts to protect its PEGI rating, it stands to reason that it considers that children form a part of its audience, and an important part of that. And if children are in its audience, it's aiming loot boxes at them. Let's be clear. World of Warplanes is far from the only company doing this. It's not a World of Warplanes problem, it's a community-wide problem, and it's raising concern at the highest levels, as this illustrates. This is a study requested by a European Parliament Commission, the IMCO Committee, and if you want to know what IMCO means, it means the Internal Market and Consumer Protection Committee. And this is a report from July 2020, and as you can see, it's a discussion about loot boxes in online games, its effect on consumers, in particular young consumers. Now, I'm not going to take you through the entirety of this report, don't worry. I'm just going to drop down to page 44, which is where the conclusions are. Now, I'm going to summarise here, but I would recommend that you read this report. In short, it's not so much a discussion of what measures should be taken, it's a discussion of how best to implement those measures, and that's an important point. The assumption here is that there should be measures taken. And in short, the EU believes that these would be best at an EU level rather than set at a national level. And we know that some countries have already taken their own actions, Belgium being one of them. I can confirm that the UK has a similar sort of discussion going on. I will be very clear here. World of Warplanes is consciously offering its product to all age groups, and therefore it is offering loot boxes to children. I call that questionable. Others might call it immoral. And I'll go further. I believe that these loot boxes should be made illegal. At this point, I should be seeking to wrap up this video with a plea to the World of Warplanes team not to offer these crates again. They're being offered to children, and that's wrong. But there's a sting in the tail here. In common with other games, World of Warplanes operates a forum, and not surprisingly they advertised the sale of steel supply crates in this forum with a new topic. And again, not surprisingly, people began to comment. That's what a forum's for. Not all of the commentary was favourable, and I offered a post which stated my opinion that these boxes should be made illegal. And along with other people's posts, that post was immediately deleted, without warning, without explanation. And when I complained that it had been deleted, I was banned for 2 weeks for discussing moderator actions. Now, the issue here is not that I was banned. The issue here is that the World of Warplanes team, or at least the moderation team, don't believe that discussion of these boxes should take place on its forum. There's a famous saying by Lenin, roughly along the lines of, "Liberty is precious, so precious that it should be rationed." Well, I think the World of Warplanes moderation team may have read that and taken it too literally. So let's wrap up there. I think steel supply crates are loot boxes, and I think loot boxes should be made illegal. Even if they're not, I hope the World of Warplanes team thinks hard about selling them again and doesn't. I also think the World of Warplanes team needs to reflect on what free speech means. Links to all the resources in this video can be found in the description below, and I hope that you found something of interest in it. If you agree with me, or even if you disagree with me, please feel free to leave a comment, and if I've missed anything you think is important, please draw my attention to it. Thank you for watching. This is Royal Flying Corps, signing out.